roll.
Okay. The meeting of the Shreveport City Council is now being called to order. Reverend Austin will give the invocation, and Councilman Fleur will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
First of all, I did not come down here to do the prayer. I came to take care of some business. I've taken care of my business, but I'm going to take care of the Lord's business now. Father, we come this day to ask that you touch each of these council members as representative of our city, that as they discuss the matters of our city, that they be on one accord. Continue to keep a hedge around our mayor and all the officials of this city, that everything that they do and say will be for the betterment of Shreveport. Now, God, we ask that you be in this midst of, that we take care of the business. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Present.
Here.
Present.
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 Here. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the administrative conference?
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Corbin and second by the Vice Chair. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, did that include the special meeting?
And the
also?
special meeting also, yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent. Does any council member have any awards, recognitions, or distinguished guests they would like to make notice of at this time? Councilman Corbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to take a moment and recognize the passing of Representative Johnny McFerrin on August 1st of this year. He served Shreveport and Caddo Parish in a number of capacities, as school board member and in the state legislature, and was a businessman here, and he will certainly be missed, and our thoughts continue to be with his family.
Any other council member? Mayor Tyler. Do you have any awards or recognitions at this time?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have today some special guests in our audience that we'd like to recognize. Last week, the city had the opportunity to partner with Dollarmania, Cattle Schools, and Shreve Memorial Library in providing about 400 uniforms to 200 of our students. Of course, 100 students from Midway and 100 from Jess Clark Elementary Schools were provided 2 uniforms each, along with a belt. The store approached me, and we quickly moved to get all the partners together to assist families that needed help with uniforms. At this time, I would like to have the partners to stand because they set a great example for other businesses in our community. So, Mr. Musa and Mr. Alquam, thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you so much for all that you do to help our young people. Also in the audience is another community partner that we'd like to recognize because they're going to make a special presentation today. I believe our new regional vice president, Ms. Christy Singleton, is she here today? If not, Mr. Eric Barkley, the one who is always with us, is here, and he's from Centerpoint Energy, of course, and he is going to make a special presentation to our police department. So, Mr. Barkley, will you come on down?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, will you come down?
Big check. It's going to take 2 people to hold it.
Mr. Chair. Appreciate you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna make the comments, and then you have
Yes, sir, I'll
comments.
just say a brief word, if that's okay.
Okay.
Centerpoint Energy is proud to be a part of the Shreveport community. We always try to give back. We're, as you well know, involved in a lot of charitable endeavors across the community, but one that I'm particularly proud of is something that the cities in our surrounding area have been able to participate in, is a grant program for safety-related items. And this year, I'm very pleased that Shreveport applied for a grant for a ballistic shield, and we are contributing $1,000 toward the purchase of that shield. And we're so proud to support our law enforcement and wish you folks all the best. So on behalf of Center Point Energy, here we go.
Thank you so
Yes,
much,
ma'am.
Mr.
Thank you.
Barkley.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Would you like to say thank you?
Yes.
Short.
Yes, very, very short. On behalf of the Shreveport Police Department, we thank Centerpoint for this donation, and we look forward to putting it to the use that it was designed, so hopefully we can continue to do good as we serve the citizens of our great city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. All right.
It's
It's
good
always-
to hear Eric's voice when he's not just returning one of my calls because I have constituents asking about work being done in the neighborhood. So I appreciate you returning those calls, but sometimes you feel bad when you're the one that's doing the complaining on behalf of your constituents. So it's good to see you under better occasions.
All righty. Thank you so much again, Mr. Barkley. We appreciate Centerpoint and their partnership. We have one or two other announcements, if it's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. As you all know, our children are back in school this week, and we wish them, the educators, and the entire school district well this academic year. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to join in on the Ring the Bell ceremony for the Cattle Schools, and that was held at Captain Shreve High School, and it was an exciting day for the students and families of Cattle Parish school system. I want to remind all parents also to take advantage of Sporttrend's back-to-school promotion of free rides for children. It's been extended through Saturday, August 18th. Those eligible children ages 17 and younger with a parent or guardian limit 3 children per paying adult, and passengers with a Sporttrend 2017 through 2018 student identification card. So we're asking families if they would like to take advantage of those free rides through August the 18th. I'm grateful when community partners like businesses and nonprofit organizations step up to support our youth. Since we last met, I've participated in the Mayor's Backpack Giveaway with KTBS and Boulder City, the shoe giveaway with Representative Barbara Norton, and the back-to-school prayer ceremony and backpack giveaway with Bishop Lawrence Brandon. And so many of our partners do step up, and they do make a difference in the lives of our young people and in our city. We continue to serve our citizens with numerous events. Since we met last, the city has supported several events, including, and these are just a few, Summer Fun Run at AC Steer and Betty Virginia Parks, Farmers Market at Festival Plaza, Movie and Moonbeams at Riverview and Bill Cockrell Parks, and many more. Those are the announcements and recognitions for today. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Tyler. While you were doing that, I was thinking about the appointments you had on yesterday, the 2
Yes,
for the
sir.
Housing Authority.
Yes, sir.
If it was okay with the council, we could like to suspend the rules and confirm the 2 for the Housing Authority.
We'd appreciate that. We're trying to, we partner with them to make sure that we can get affordable housing for our families.
Yes, ma'am.
And so with the $24.2 million we just won, they're going to be one of the biggest partners, and they really need those appointments. If the council agrees to confirm them today,
Okay.
that would really help us be able to move a little bit quicker.
Okay. Councilman
Okay.
Bradford.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned the Housing Authority appointees. The other ones are reappointments, so why don't we just be inclusive and do all 4?
Fine with all 4.
So I move that we suspend the rules, Mr. Chairman, to take up confirming the appointments from the mayor.
Second. It's been moved by Councilman Bradford and second by the chair to suspend the rules and confirm those appointments. If there's no discussion, please vote.
Mr. Chairman?
Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Thank you so much.
I move that these recommendations or appointments be confirmed.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bradford and second by Councilman Epperson. If there's no discussion, please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Does anyone, any council member have any questions or concerns relative to property standards? Before he makes his way down. Nope. Seeing none, thank you for your services, Mr. Green. Mr. Crawford has emailed the revenue collection plan and report. And Mr. Bradford, did you send it
I did send it this morning.
this morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No public hearing. Mr. Thompson, is there any legislation to be added to that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, a moment of personal privilege, and ask Mr. Sweeney to come to the front. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Mr. Sweeney, it's my understanding that this will be your last meeting with us today.
That is true.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
That looks like the realest smile I've seen on his face.
I don't mean it that way.
Mr. Sweeney, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to you for your service to the city, to the MPC, over the last 3.5 years. I thought you was a very good executive director of the MPC. I don't know where this got off track, but I was very much appreciative on how you directed us through the process of the Unified Development Code. I thought you gave it your due diligence. You pretty much went through all the details. You took it on the road. We said as that process was proceeding that this was a working document, that there would be, and we anticipated amendments throughout, until, because you never knew what would occur to make a difference. But I appreciate working with you. You directed us through a lot of many issues regarding the master plan. I'm trusting that we can move forward with that through that committee. I know there's some unfinished work that we engaged in, but overall, I just wanted to thank you for your service, and I wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. And I would like to say that I've actually have truly enjoyed working with you as a city council. I think that you have shown great leadership. You have made some very difficult decisions over the last 4 years that I've been here. I've been a part of some of those discussions and some of those decisions, and I just want to tell you that I appreciate what you've done for your community and the things you'll do in the future. Those that will be leaving the council, I know you'll go on to other things, and those that remain will have new responsibilities and new roles with all the new council members that will come on board. And so it's an ever-changing thing, and we have to be a part of what I consider something bigger than ourselves that makes a difference in our community. And I just appreciate the support and the advice that I've gotten from you as a council over the last 4 years. It's helped make me a better executive director and will make me a better leader in the new position that I'm taking on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
If I could, Mark, I know I've gotten to work with you a lot on the master plan committee, and I definitely want to echo that the sentiments of Councilman Bradford. You got hired in on a tough job. You came into a community that had just passed a master plan for the first time in anyone's memory, and a big part of making that master plan a reality was rewriting our entire zoning code and changing expectations of what everybody was used to. It's not an easy thing to do, and particularly in a community of this size. So I think you did a really great job of vetting that, taking it out to the public, looking for comments, and I kind of fully expected that there was going to be continual amendments and changes, and I kind of thought that, I thought that was what was the process we were all anticipating. So I'm happy to see what we see today, where we see additional changes. We're continuing to see modifications. I realized in that first year, I kind of also expected maybe a tumultuous first year, because I remember when Bossier adopted their Unified Development Code, and there was some rumblings at the beginning, but they kind of stuck with it and figured out how to tweak it and make it right for them, and they've had a big success with it over the years. So I expect the same thing with us, is that we'll kind of continue to modify it a little bit, reflect what we see going on, and how just let it become the best document it can. And I hope you're able to look back and with pride see the results of that in some time as we see development improve in the area.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Well, just happy, commend you for your efforts. Clearly, it was a difficult position, and having two masters is never easy. And that, in your case,
The Bible warns us
you might
about
have had about 4 or 5 different people, exerting influence on you in different ways. So that would be a challenge in and of itself. So appreciate, what you've done for us, your commitment to it, and frankly, your personal discipline in not necessarily responding to a lot of the stuff. So that I appreciate, and good luck in your next position.
Thank you, sir. And I've appreciated the fact that you've been my council member all the time that I've been here, and you've done a good job, and I hope the best for you as well going forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the one-on-ones, and because I needed it, still will need it after you're gone. But I just appreciate your efforts and
Thank
the
you,
job
sir.
that you've done.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. Sweeney and I have spoken previously, and just want to say again publicly, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Michael, I do appreciate your support, and I hope the best for you as well going forward into your with your new position with SWEPCO and great opportunities to come, hopefully.
Think about December, my smile will be as big as yours.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right.
My power keeps going off.
Back to is that it?
Yes, my power the other night.
Mr. Thompson, is there any legislation to be added today?
There is none, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Seeing there is none, is there a motion to add these items to the agenda?
Which item, Mr. Chairman?
I thought it was one.
Say what?
Not one. No.
No,
We said none.
none.
The new voice.
It's a Darth Vader in him.
Okay. And Vice Chair, we have the following request to speak.
Amazingly, we only have one with a agenda item. That is Mega Parsons. Miguel. Oh. Yeah, and she's here, I know, because I said hello.
Just left Miguel
There she is.
Parsons a voicemail earlier today.
And unfortunately, I should have recognized that. Ma'am, if you wouldn't mind giving us your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes for your public comment.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Tyler, council members, and all assembled. My name is Miguel Parsons, and I reside at 3921 Merwin Street. And just keeping it brief, I'm in total opposition of the commercial zoning and development in the center of a deep-rooted and quiet, stable neighborhood, such as Country Club Hill subdivision. And again, I stress commercial zoning. I've been in close communication with my neighbors. I've had calls from several of the neighbors who stated that they were against this, and then they changed their minds. So I called to find out, what did I miss? Why did they change their minds? A lot of them said the same thing. They're tired of the grass, they're tired of the weeds, they're tired of the rodents, and we all are in agreement of that. We welcome a feasibility study to make sure that the magnitude of this UDC code fits this particular neighborhood. We all are in agreement that something needs to go back there, but nothing like a commercial establishment. And if you would engage me, council members, for just a second, place your hands, we do this at the hospital sometime, place your hands on the podium and close your eyes and envision commercial development in your neighborhood where you live. Waking up, seeing a food truck, a store, an entertainment facility, any of this that can go in your neighborhood, and then open your eyes and ask yourself, is that something you want to wake up and see every day? Again, we welcome having something in that area, but not commercial development. We experience that every day on Greenwood Road with big red buildings, blighted buildings, and it seems as if though the neighborhood is being held accountable for something we have no control over. So if you would, please consider not rezoning this area to a commercial development. Now, in the PUD staff report, and let me ask this question, is that a legal document? If it is, there are some errors in it that need to be corrected. But in this report, it makes mention of partnerships with the neighbors and having input addressing blighted buildings, rental properties, and all of these things that cause the neighborhood to appear to be neglected. None of this is caused by the residents in our community, in any of the communities surrounding this city. We need to first clean up the commercial development that has now been associated with neighborhoods, causing it to be looked upon as experiencing generational transition, and not hold the neighborhoods hostage for commercial businesses being neglected and landlords neglecting their property. Please rethink this particular rezoning cause, because at the end of the day, the land is gone. You have no control over it, and the people that are living around this has no control over it.
Ms.
Please
Parsons,
try.
your 3 minutes is up. If you
Thank
wouldn't
you.
mind, I'm finishing up in a sentence or two.
Yes.
That'd be nice.
Please try to come together with a better idea. Please be peacemakers and good stewardships and good stewards in your decision for the residents in this part of town, in the community, in the neighborhood, in the city. You are the elected body for the people. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
That's it.
that's all I got for agenda items.
I think we've taken care of the executive appointments. There are no items on the consent agenda. Mr. Thompson, let's continue with items to be adopted.
On the consent agenda, we have one item, Resolution 100. A motion to adopt the consent agenda is in order. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Bradford and seconded by the Vice Chair. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Resolutions on second reading and final passage are Resolution 97, authorizing the mayor to execute an acceptance of active donation between the City of Shreveport and WIVI Land Development, LLC, for the water and sewer main extensions and related facilities to serve Lucian Field Estates, Phase 1, Unit B.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Fleury and seconded by Councilman Bradford. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Resolution 98 authorizes a facility servitude for the purpose of locating and constructing a facility across, in, over, and under city-owned property at the future site of the field operations and customer service for the Department of Water and Sewer between 5226 Monkhouse Drive and 5122 Hollywood Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Everson and seconded by the Chair. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Resolution 101 declares a public emergency in connection with the emergency replacement of the City of Shreveport.
Second.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Corbin and seconded by the Chair.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
And we have Councilman Bradford on to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, this emergency work was articulated to us yesterday by the administration, and I certainly support it. But I want to ask a question, Mayor, administration, is Is there any opportunity in this emergency work for fair share inclusion?
This is a TPI project, and it's specific to a certified type of roof, and there's only one contractor in our area. Ms. Ragelwood can come up and give you more details on that, Councilwoman, if the mayor wants to bring her up.
Yeah. Let's just bring her up.
Yeah.
Let's bring her up back there.
See Shelley.
Okay.
Okay, so my understanding is that that only one certified,
There's only one certified contractor. Yes, sir.
and these type of opportunities are not outsourced, or in.
There's Ms. Wood.
Okay.
Ms. Wood, can you talk to him about the certified contractor being the only person available to do this? We asked the same question, just so you know.
Independent Stadium roof is something called a Duraplast. It's a single membrane roof. You have to be certified to apply either that or a TPO roof, which are all very different than your normal commercial roofs. These are a single membrane roof. They're either plastics and you have to be certified to do those. We did have some companies call us, and at the time they were not certified to do that specific. It's a mechanically applied roof.
Okay.
So one of the things that we wanted to do, just so that you know why the emergency was the emergency, as we told you, it was damaged early in the year. And then we came back in July, the last weekend in July, when we had the straight line winds. And the reason it was such damage so quickly is because it is that single ply roof. So when it picked it up, it picked the whole thing up and tore it off. We were having, a lot of water penetrating the ceiling into the club level, where we've just repainted, we've just recarpeted, and it was important to get somebody under contract immediately, because the minute you get someone under contract, keeping it dry is now their responsibility. We had some companies offer to dry us in for $75,000. We had another company said $15,000, and I said, "There's just no way we can spend that kind of money." But we couldn't continue to gamble. I mean, the last week we hadn't had the kind of rain chances all year that we've had in the last week, and we were very fortunate that we were able to get this company under contract so quickly, and because the minute they're under contract, they're responsible for keeping it dry. That's why we were able to dry it in last week.
And I appreciate that. I certainly appreciate the comments by Mr. Crawford in saying that the discussion in regards to fair share inclusion was support of the talk, and there and some work. There's various phases of work. I understand the certification piece for the primary roofing job, but there was no other pieces of this work that could have been given to a minority.
I don't know. I can certainly ask if there's any parts that they could, any cleanup. It's not like a traditional roof where you have a big tear off, where you have shingles or you even have gravel removal, because it's not that kind of roofing system. Where a lot of times you do have cleanup and haul away. This is real different than that. We can look at the roof drains. We'll talk to them about that.
Certainly, Mayor. If there's any opportunity in this whole apparatus, I would appreciate you looking at it.
We always do. We certainly will do that. As you know, last year we did $50 million just with our fair share clients, from $21 million in 2015. So each department has been charged with a responsibility of looking to see how we can include and be inclusive with small and minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and our fair share clients. So we're going to always do that. That's what they're charged to do, and we'll look at this one also.
Yes. And in this situation, I think they said this yesterday, but want to reiterate, we were very fortunate to have our Independent Stadium, and the mayor and the council, when they refinanced the bonds, we had this money that can only be used at Independent Stadium, unfortunately, because otherwise, I don't know, in our budget, we didn't have that kind of money. So we're lucky that we had that.
About some old tarp.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we did the refunding.
Yes, ma'am.
Refinancing so that we could have funding to address any emergency type needs. So
and
thank you so much.
And we are still working with risk management for a claim. We still have our original claim, and now we have this second one.
Good. So, I mentioned that yesterday. Thank you.
Can we vote?
Is that it? Well, I'm waiting on Now, okay, please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent. Mr. Thompson, please continue with introduction of resolution.
Resolution 101 concerns the United States Department of Justice. The mayor making application for a grant. Resolution 103 concerns the 2018 Internal Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Report. And Resolution 104 concerns a $24 million, $214,284 grant that the city has
moved to
received.
introduce these resolutions.
Been moved by Councilman Epperson and second by the Vice Chair. If there's no discussion, please vote. Motion carries with 5, 1 out of chamber, 1 absent.
Ordinance numbers, we are now under introduction of ordinances. Ordinance number 66 is an amendment to the 2018 Community Development Special Revenue Fund. Ordinance 67 revises Chapter 78 of the Code. Ordinance number 68 is a zoning matter, case number C-38-18. Ordinance 69 is a zoning case matter, case number C-40-18. Ordinance 70 is also a zoning matter, case number C-42-18. Ordinance 71 is a zoning matter, C-43-18. Ordinance 72 is a zoning...
So moved to introduce these ordinances.
A second?
And second by, it's been moved by Councilman Epperson and second by Councilman Bradford.
I almost make as part of that motion that the clerk will let me read the next one, so as not to, I'm just kidding, but I mean, I do not want you to have to strain your voice too much of it, because some of those are wordy.
Please vote. Motion carries with 5, 1 out of chamber, 1 absent.
We're now into ordinances on second reading and final passage. Ordinance 58 was approved by the Riverfront B4 Committee this afternoon. It amends section of Article 8, Chapter 90 of the Traffic in Vehicles of the City of Shreveport.
It's been moved by Councilman Epperson.
That's 58. Second.
And second by Councilman Corbin. Please vote.
And just
Just as a recap, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just if you could recap
I'm sorry.
how that meeting went.
I'm
that would
sitting
be
next
good.
to several people who were in that meeting.
I was not in that meeting, so.
So we discussed this. This is some changes to the parking ordinance. They've been discussed at the Public Safety Committee meeting, but they were also referred to downtown so that we could ask some questions just from that point of view. We discussed a little bit, a lot of it pertains to kind of people who are parking and then switching cars into another space and kind of trying to get around the time limits on parking. And then some of it is just clarifications that allow for enforcement of laws that are already established. So we're really not changing a lot of, we're not changing what the kind of the way it's supposed to work now. We're just kind of making some changes so that they can enforce that a little better.
Gotcha.
And also mention that the committee voted to support the
Yeah,
change.
correct. And so I make the motion kind of on behalf of that recommendation from that committee.
All right.
Is it count?
That's good. Good for me. I just was going to ask for a little update on how the meeting went since.
Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
And just, I mean, I guess we just voted on it, but I mean, just so you'll know, I mean, we can talk in committees later about more of the discussion that we had about it. We did have a little bit more question and answer about it, but ultimately, after having that discussion, the recommendation was made to move forward with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ordinance 6-1 amends Chapter 10 of the Code.
Second?
So moved. I'm happy to.
Been moved by the Vice Chair and second by Councilman Corbin. Please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Ordinance 62 amends the Unified Development Code. There is one amendment. It is a technical amendment.
So moved on the amendment.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Everson and seconded by Councilman Corbin. If there's no discussion, please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
So moved as amended.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Everson and seconded by Councilman Corbin. Please vote.
When did the
Move
amendment
as a-
come up, by the way? Yesterday? Or was it on there for a few days?
That amendment, that's been there a minute. It's just they flip-flopped
Yeah.
some definitions in there.
I saw
So
it.
it's correcting that.
Waiting on Councilman Everson.
It's all right. Thought I clicked it.
Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Ordinance 63 will rezone property located at 1842 Barton Drive from I-2 to C3. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Bradford and second by the Chair. Please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Ordinance 64 will rezone property located on the east side of Esplanade Avenue, 2,770 feet north of Greenwood Road, from OS and R17 Open Space and Single Family Residential District to C-UV PUD Urban Village Commercial District.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the Chair and seconded by Councilman Everson. If there's no discussion, please vote.
Well, could I just
Yes, sir.
You make a comment
make a
after.
comment? Or I suppose I can make a comment afterwards too, yeah.
I'd probably like to make one afterwards.
Yeah.
And motion carries with 6 and 1 absent. Councilman Everson.
Yeah, I just wanted to certainly thank the citizens who reached out to us. I know Ms. Parsons may not be happy with that vote, but I do think that there are protections here. I mean, this is a PUD. This is a preliminary site approval for a PUD. That quite frankly, I mean, I had reservations initially about this project. It just sounded like really large in scale, and I wasn't sure how it would fit within the context of the existing neighborhood. But the more that I saw on it, and the more that I saw it kind of come together, and the more I heard from some of the residents in that area, it started looking better, and I started looking at it with a little bit closer eye, and it really looks like something that's very close to what our master plan hopes for some of our urban neighborhoods, and certainly when the example was just given about commercial being near residential. I mean, I do live in a neighborhood that has commercial near residential in Highland, and sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse. It just kind of depends on the quality of how it's done, and I think that quality is what really you get out of a PUD. I mean, that's what a PUD does, is you sort of trade off some better design characteristics for the right to kind of have this mixed use setup. And so I'm hopeful that it's a real big success. It looks to be a well thought out investment in our community.
Councilman Jenkins.
Yes, I certainly want to commend Ms. Parsons for a very frank, open, and friendly dialogue about the development. Obviously, her reservations, she made those clear here today. And I respect that, and certainly I hope the developer takes some of her thoughts into account. Obviously, he's an experienced developer. And for those that haven't noticed, I would say our inner city is in desperate need of redevelopment. And this, to me, is a great opportunity that I'd like to see more of, whether that be in District C or somebody else's district. We've had a project that so far in District C that had a lot of headwinds initially has really seemed to come out pretty well in the Madison Park area. And I'm hoping, that same level of investment and quality will occur here as well. So good luck. I'd really like to see this move forward, and hopefully, we get this type of investment in many different areas in our city, and that would really, help us move in the right direction. So I'm eager to see the result, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Bradford? I'm sorry. Councilman Bradford?
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me echo the sentiments of the two previous councilmen. And I want you to know, and Mr. Chairman, I speak on your behalf as well, that the chairman and I had an opportunity to meet with both the proponents and the opponents of this development. We tried to be reasonable and fair. We heard a lot of concerns, and we thought it was a good project for this community. I'm sensitive to some of their concerns, certainly. I think there's opportunity with the developer to look at some benefits of this being where it is, and how we can be friendly, be friendly co-partners in this area. I think we can do that. But I wanted to thank the councilman for supporting this, because oftentimes we get a lot of feedback, like we did on this project, and we're faced with looking at what's popular sometimes, what's not popular. But I think in this case we did what was right. I think it was the right thing to do, to vote to move forward with the development that could revigorize, repurpose, redevelop an area that is in desperate need of redeveloping. I live in proximity to this property as well as some of the ones that has expressed their concerns. So I look forward to working with the developer and working with the neighbors, so that we can create the type of neighborhood, the type of atmosphere within these demographics that could be positive and lead us to a brighter future in that area. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Crawford?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just to be clear, this is the same conversation that was an extension of a couple of weeks ago when we started talking about annexing some property in the southern part of the city, and how we all are in agreement, including the administration, that infill is desperately needed. And so the mayor and the administration are on one accord with the council in that concept. We do get a number of complaints from the property owners in that neighborhood regarding the upkeep of that property, the vermin that come out of that area, the weeds, and so we're happy to see that reach some development stage before it continues to deteriorate.
I understand.
But it belongs to...
But it is private property.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. So that's that. Move.
Ordinance number 65 rezones property on the east side of Wallace Lake Road from R2 PUD to R2 PUD.
So moved. Been moved by Councilman Corbin and seconded by the chair. There's no discussion. Please vote. Motion carries with 6 and 1 absent.
Mr. Chairman, those are all of the matters on the regular agenda. I'm not aware of the item on the table agenda to be removed.
Okay. And there's no property standards today. Are there any other appeals, Mr. Thompson?
No, sir.
Are there any reports from officers, boards, or committees?
Yes. And also, I have to write back a constituent who said, I hope I can make it to make a public comment. Well, how late will your meeting be lasting? And I said, I'm sure it'll be going till 5, but now I'm not so sure. So, no, but I'll say the B4 committee met. We discussed the ordinance that we recommended passage of and that the council passed a moment ago regarding parking. Part of what that was, there's been some changes in ways you can pay for parking, through apps and things like that. And there's permit that we added a couple years ago. But what we wanted to see was a little bit of clarification, both in the language of the law, but also kind of outreach to the citizens a little bit in downtown. DDA is going to be doing a repainting of some curbs to help notify people where the different parking zones are and that kind of thing. I think that's going to be real helpful. You know, we kind of get used to what we see the curbs looking like over time, but refreshed paint will really kind of help us remember. Because what's happened is we've got some spaces downtown that don't have meters on them, but you can still use them by using other payment methods now. And so that's gotten a little confusing, so we've added some clarity to that, and I think that through the curb painting, and they talked about also maybe doing a little bit of a public awareness campaign to kind of help people understand that. There was some discussion about some of the length of time that people park in these parking places, and what happens is people sort of flip them back and forth, and two people may take up a whole block of parking all day long. And so again, there was just some language shifted to clarify that, so that we can keep having sort of available parking spaces come up, because that's really your on-street parking in your heart of downtown is needed for people to be able to get in and out quickly of some of the properties in downtown. So I think I summed up most of that conversation. If I'm missing something, somebody please.
You can always come back and make other adjustments.
Yeah, it's also a thing where, I mean, this is easily modified, so if this doesn't work, we can go back and take another look. And then we did talk about some things that we want to discuss in upcoming meetings as well, and so we'll be putting out a public notice once we refine those things a little bit.
Okay. All right. That's it. Did you have something? No. And is there a clerk's report?
No, sir.
Madam Mayor, do you have any additional communication?
Nothing, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any council member have any additional communication? Councilman Fleury?
Mayor Tyler, may I speak with SPAR on some issues that I have, questions I have?
Yes, sir. Ms. Reagan-Wood?
Good afternoon, Shelley. I have, as we prepare to look at next year's budget, I have some concerns with Huntington Golf Course, and I think I need you to tell me, what are the fees for Huntington Golf Course for annual membership? I'm not sure that I saw them on the website. Can you just briefly tell me? I'm particularly concerned with seniors. Seniors are reaching out to me saying that they don't feel like they're getting a fair shake at Huntington. Price-wise, they want two times a month to have some type of thing. They tell me they're having to drive to Plain Deal and other locations because Huntington is not senior friendly. Can you address that for me and set that straight?
Well, I can send you, we have a deep discount at our golf courses for seniors. I think a senior can play unlimited golf for around $65 a month. If you play, it's about $30 during the week to play, $35 on the weekend. You play 2 times a week. Most of those seniors are playing 4 times a week for $60 and $65 a month, depending on if you take a payment plan or if you pay up front. We're very senior friendly. I think you and I talked about it. We have to remember the golf courses are an enterprise fund. We have to live on what we make, and so we do have to run it like a business. But sometimes what happens, unfortunately, we have to run the expenses like a business too. And the cost of our employees, we can't compete with other courses in town when it comes to the cost to have a city employee. We've done, I think you've seen it in our budget, you'll see it again this year. We continue to do the best we can with part-time employees, but there are several that you just can't have part-time. And the costs of employees are very expensive. So, we try to keep rates reasonable. We're doing a whole lot of marketing. One of the things Council Bowman and I had a chance to talk about with a group of golfers is we're using a new marketing system that allows us to market those times that are slow and being able to discount times like in mid-afternoon, which are some of the times seniors are wanting to play. We've just implemented that. To stay competitive, we're having to, gather information. I think you heard, it made me a little nervous hearing the MPC director yesterday talking about what's happening nationally with golf courses. So one of the reasons we have to stay and we have to continue to charge market rates is so that we can stay in business. So, I mean, I think if they've given their email address, and we've set up tons of emails for seniors out there at the golf courses so that they could get information, they'll be seeing, discounted times from, 1 in the afternoon to 3 o'clock when we're not very busy. This new marketing system analyzes, the days, the times, the tee times that we're not busy, when the golf course isn't busy. And that's what it makes recommendations to discount those times to make them more attractive to weekday players.
Well, the criticism there, excuse me for interrupting, the criticism there is that you're asking them to come at noon, and that's too hot.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is that fair?
Well, the majority of our times that we can discount are in the afternoons. But the reason we don't discount at 7 in the morning is because we can book those tee times over and over and over. That's supply and demand too. And
Well,
we're the cheap. Let me just say, for a membership with a cart, about $1,200 a year, you can play all the golf you want.
$1,200 a year, but that's using your card.
No.
They can bring their cart?
No, they can have a cart from the city. So
From
they
the
have
city.
no maintenance, they have no upkeep, they have no storage. It's about another $60. It's about, for a senior, it's about $650, and then your cart's about another $650.
Got it.
Okay. Now, Shelley, he and I have had this discussion a little bit, and I have gone through the website, and I cannot find.
If you go, we have a brand new website for golf called myspargolf. Spargolf.net.
Okay, I am definitely on myspar.org.
Yeah.
So that's
Spargolf.net. Try that.
Spar.
It just was released last week. Emails went to everybody that has an email account. You can book your tee times online. You can find rates. You can find our daily lunch specials, everything you want to know. There will be a link from the city site to it, and it has all the rates. It has, like I said, you can book your tee times. You can order a T-shirt. You can do anything you want on that site.
Well, we'll check on that in just a moment after the meeting here, because so I'm not 100%. It says that this is the future home of something quite cool, is what I got when I did. So I'm not saying that it may be right. I may be doing, or I may be typing it in wrong, but that's okay, because I did look for this, because he and I had this discussion. But I agree with you. I think it's about $700 for the year for a senior rate. That's what it used to be, but I couldn't find it today. But anyway.
Well, it's about $65 a month. And we offer everything. We offer payment plans where you can pay monthly. We offer you to buy it annually. So you've got options depending on your ability, your cash flow every year. So we're trying to do the best that we can to keep them very well maintained, to stay competitive, but yet keep the doors open. Like I said, when the MPC director was talking yesterday about what's happening all over the country, it made me a little nervous because, we don't want to lose it as a recreational activity. So we're trying.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any other council member? Councilman Corbin.
Thank you. Two quick things. I know the telecommunications tower at Stoner and Clyde Fant has been an ongoing issue for a while. And I appreciate the fact that someone has put an American flag on the pole now. But I think it's a little disrespectful in the shadow of the VA hospital. The scale of the flag and however they've attached it, it looks like they just put bungees around it.
We're having that conversation with them to have an appropriate flag put up there that they told us that they were going to have.
I think no flag or an appropriate flag.
Similar to the picture that we got when we were looking at it.
Yes, exactly.
So they could only build what they told us they would build. That would be nice.
That would be great. And then my other thing is I want us to continue to work with our contractors on consent decree work. I continue to either run up myself or get phone calls from citizens where cuts have been made in the road and gravel fill's been put in, and there's no signage, no anything. I reported a couple of those to Barbara's office last week, and I think late last week or maybe even Monday, some asphalt was put over them. But we've got to pay attention to those.
We had a meeting just this morning with the mayor and CDM staff, and we're keeping our thumb on them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, anything else from council members? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, public comments for non-agenda items. Sherry Bonnet, is she always hiding back there where I can't see her? Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes. You're familiar, though, I know.
My name is Sherry Bonnet. I live at 2613 East Cavett Drive, and I'm here to talk about Anderson Island neighborhood. And I presented one of these to everyone. Did y'all get this? Okay. We've been having a neighborhood meeting every month, and this is just the information that we discussed, the people that were present, and things that were discussed. And we also have a park meeting at the Anderson Island Windy Park the following Saturday. That's on here as well. Our next neighborhood meeting, we're going to have a mayoral forum, and that was brought up because we keep having our neighborhood meetings, we keep having candidates present, and the neighbors were complaining that they were not allowed to speak because other candidates were not invited. So we just kind of stepped out and said, well, we'll just invite everybody so whoever shows up can speak. I went ahead and, I guess, set some rules for the forum so we could follow a pattern so it would be controlled. And so I just wanted to let everybody know. We're still having a few issues in the neighborhood. We're having issues with signage. We need some no truck signs on some of our streets. And we put that request in to the ShreveportLA.gov. We have a lot of 18-wheelers that keep coming through our neighborhood. So that's been an issue. We've had speeding issues that the Shreveport Police has helped us out with. They've come out there and done some patrol. So we appreciate that. And also SPAR has done some things with us on our park. They have still worked on some upgrades with us and got our parking lit up. We've been having a lot of issues with things happening in our park, especially at dark after midnight. I drive by there and I call the police to please come check it out. And so we appreciate that. And I do have an email into SPAR about the time. A lot of neighbors are complaining about the closing being at 10. They feel like in the neighborhood 10 is too late. So I'm waiting to hear back on that. Do you have any questions for me?
What was the date again of the mayoral?
It's on the last page. It's at our regularly scheduled neighborhood meeting. We tried to leave it at the same time because that's when everyone that's been coming is aware of the time.
I'm sorry, I got that copy of the wrong document. Now I see it. August 23rd is what you got.
And I sent emails and I've sent letters out to all the candidates, just like I said, to try to make sure they were all aware.
Thank you very much, Sherry. And I apologize I couldn't make the last meeting. I was out of town, but I imagine it went as well as your typical meetings go.
We've been having some really good meetings, and like I said, I think the neighbors are really positive about that because they're starting to see trucks in the neighborhood. They're starting to see patrol in the neighborhood. They're seeing more activity in the neighborhood, and I think that's helped it a lot.
Continue to be doing it right. I'm impressed. Thank you.
Sherry, can you send me, you got an email back from Civic Works, what is it called? Civic Plus now, sorry. Can you forward that one to me? I'd like to find out where that is in the queue about the no truck signs. You know
okay, you're talking about the signs that were put in? Okay, because I'm not the only one that's requested signs.
Yeah, well, whoever.
Well, we have signs. They're going down East Washington, but we have Knight Street, Wayman Street, D Street, and the trucks are actually in the neighborhood before the signs are seen. And we just have trucks that, when that is mentioned to, they're like, well, there's no signage, so they can just drive through there. Our streets are in bad repair.
You put in that request into
Civics.
Civic Plus, or whatever
Yes.
it's called.
And another neighbor said they got a call from Mr. Johnson saying that they didn't feel the signs were necessary. But like I said, I mean, I just don't know how we're going to keep trucks out of our neighborhood if there's no signage saying they shouldn't be there.
Okay. And so when you submitted, or whoever submitted it, you get an email back that says, hey, we've received your submission. And that has a little code on it there that then we can look on. So if you could forward that email, or whoever put in the request to me, then I can follow up on it. Okay.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Ken, don't hesitate to offer some advice on how to run a forum if you need to. She might work some of Ken's. There we go. Next on our list, Mr. Flukers, please. Say your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Jake Flukers, 741 Cambridge Place, City Councilman, Congressman Flores. I'm here to talk to you about code violation. And the code violation is what I was told, that if you have some kind of violation with your property, I have a couple of lots, and you get violation because you have a 12-inch of grass. I also have, if you have some kind of trash around your thing, you have a code violation. And what I was living through, since I've been having the property over 20 years, that when you have a violation like that, you have a chance to talk to you city councilman like I did. And we've been talking about it, and when you get a code violation, you get a registered letter. And you have to sign that registered letter to let them know that you received that letter. I haven't received any letter, but I got charged with it. I went over to the place, and they gave me the signature that put on it wasn't mine. The code violation is thing with what I was told in the last 20 years, that you have some kind of thing they call a mechanical lien on your property when you violate that. That's mean that you cannot sell your property unless you pay the penalty. And also you have tax. I have tax that I sent in December 31st. And when you send your tax in by the December 31st, assume that it's paid for and everything's clear. But I received some letters saying, hey, I did send my tax in. I got my tax back saying that they had taken my tax money and put it on a code violation. When you don't pay your taxes, you have a 1% charge on your tax per month. Now, I got a certified check, sent it for my city tax. They take my city tax and put it on a code violation. Code violation don't have any kind of interest on it, but your city tax you do. So what they did, the city, they are taking my tax money, put it on a code violation. Now I am paying taxes for not paying my city. I can't understand that.
Mr. Chairman. Mayor, the question is, as I understand, is that when the taxes come in, they are applied not to the taxes, it's checked, but was applied to the code violation. My question, and I'm asking only, is what authority do we have to do that? He thought his taxes had been paid, but yet they applied to the code that outstanding violations that he had.
I'm going
on
to call
property
Mr. Madden up. I'm not sure, about those facts.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm going to call him up because I've never known us to take
Right.
monies for one
I've
area.
had some experience with this, and I won't take away from him, but I believe that property standards liens are first priority liens.
Do that one more time?
They're first priority liens. So that is, when you violate property standards, you have caused the public to spend tax dollars on the maintenance of private property, and so that has to be paid back before your taxes can be paid by, I think it's Louisiana law. It's certainly not unique.
Do you have it?
Certainly not unique to Shreveport. It happens. That's the way it happens all
I
across.
think he's going to address Mr.
Do
Fluker.
you have it? Do you have it written down somewhere?
In
Or
the
is it something
Louisiana
Well, we'll ask the city
Code
attorney.
of Ordinance.
Yeah, I'll look it up. The city attorney will tell us whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah, can we hear from Mr. Madden?
Yes. Mr. Madden, can you address this issue?
You can let him come to
Because
the
I'm
mic.
not familiar with it.
Yes. Whether it's taxes or codes, all of them, anything that's on the tax roll is charged 1% interest. So, the fact that he's getting charged interest, he's going to get charged interest whether we pay the taxes and leave the code charge to earn the interest, or the code charge and the taxes are paid the interest. Either way, there's going to be interest charge on that account if the full amount is not paid on December 31st.
Okay, but Charles,
not the question.
if I give you if I owe $2,000 in taxes and $50 in liens, and I give you $25, do I owe $25 in liens still and $2,000 in taxes, or do I owe $50 in liens and
We apply to
$1,907?
We apply to the liens first,
That's a state law.
And how long
Yes.
have you been doing that?
forever.
Are we sure?
We've
that's
always done
state
it that
law?
way.
We'll have the attorney check on it.
I can't find it from this.
And another thing, though, Mayor, don't you understand? He sends his money in, and he doesn't know how it's been applied.
Well, I'm
You
sure.
can pay back your property standards
I
violation. and
I
you
don't
would
know
it's going
what
to-
what he knows actually, but we have to follow the law. I can tell you that. But let the attorney speak to that. I'm sure that somebody notified
Yes, ma'am.
the owner if there was a code violation.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that is what we have to do before we can assess anybody. So
You do have a policy saying that when you get this lien, that you get with your city councilman, and you have discussion about it, and then you can bring it on to the thing. I've been talking to the city council about it, and I didn't think that they were going to penalize me while we're still trying to. Especially when I showed that I didn't sign for anything, and other violations in my property.
Are you saying, Mr. Flukers, are you saying that Mr. Flukers, over here?
What about it?
Over here.
Oh, you have to speak up, man. Yeah. Come on now.
No, I'm trying to get an understanding. Are you saying that the property standards violations are not accurate? What do you?
I'm saying that no, it's not accurate because my thing is that I don't think I violated anything if I didn't sign for any kind of.
No. That's you're talking two different things. Signing for a certified letter is not saying that you're not in violation.
All right.
Okay, it's saying that you didn't get the letter.
All right, no, let me. I understand that too, but if I didn't get the letter, like you're saying, and you have a 10-day period to appeal it, listen. If I'm out of town and don't know anything about it, and when I do get it, it rained that week, so I can't cut the grass. Okay, when they do drive, they'll come mudded and do have cut on it. By the time I get out there.
Well, I think this is a situation, Mayor, that if you could designate somebody to speak with him so we can try to get this.
we can.
Okay.
Why don't you just wait till after the meeting and we'll talk to you because property standards.
Terrence.
But he did sign the.
But I mean, but even if he signed
No, I'm
it,
just asking, but
he didn't have a copy of it.
Well, I'm just saying that he received it because I was under the impression that he said it wasn't his signature. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Moving on.
for reference,
Let's go on to the next item.
just for reference, Title 33, Resolution 33, Section 4766, municipalities and parishes. This is in the state Louisiana revised statutes. Municipalities and parishes, lien and privilege for cost of demolition, removal, and maintenance by parish or municipality, interest and attorney fees are all. That's where it discusses it. And so it's a state law, and we're in compliance with the state
And
law.
that's where the lien comes in. I mean, we if I may say this, we get the calls about properties not being maintained from neighbors. We have to go in and do something to the properties, then the lien goes on the property. And that's how it happens, really. Okay.
No. He's going to discuss with you. No,
If it's not paid. Okay. Will you talk to Mr. Terrence because your property was.
Okay.
Okay, next on our agenda.
I got that. Yeah, I got it.
Jackie Robertson. Mr. Robertson, if you would state your name and address for the record into the microphone. You have 3 minutes, sir.
My name is Jackie L. Robertson. My address is 7210 Bernstein, apartment 184, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
I'm here because I have a problem with the Shreveport police. A couple of years ago, they were looking for a young man that had committed a crime in Bossier, and he drove a 0304 model Altima, Nissan Altima, dark burgundy in color. On this particular night, June 27, 2016, Officer Delo stopped me for this person that they was looking for. He came off of Kings Highway on ramp with no lights on, no sirens, and trailed me for about 40 to 60 yards before he turned his lights on. At that time, we had approached 2 more officers that was on the shoulder of the highway, waiting for us to pull over. As I approached them, they were looking, doing handshakes and high-fiving each other, thinking that I was the person that Bossier had put out a bolo for. I waited on my car till Officer Delo came and asked me to get out my car. I suffer from a bad bladder. I had a bladder biopsy done in 2015 of December. This happened in June. I urinated on myself that night before Officer Delo stopped me because I had nowhere else to go to the bathroom while I was on I-49. I didn't see the reason, no reason why I couldn't. It's my car. It was me. I'm by myself on my way home, less than 3 miles from home. Officer Delo and these other 2 officers pulled me to the shoulder of the road. After they saw that I wasn't the person that they was looking for, they arrested me anyway, saying that I was drunk. I don't drink. I hadn't drank in 20 years. Okay? I hadn't been in no trouble in 30 to 40 years. But they took me to jail saying that I was drunk and got my fingerprints because I had not been in any trouble. If I was drunk like they proclaim on this police report, how did I get out of jail less than an hour? And I filed a suit against the city of Shreveport, but because I didn't have legal representation, it was dismissed from the federal court. The appellate court in New Orleans picked it up, but for the same reason I couldn't find a lawyer, they dismissed it back here in July of this year. I have all my medical records from the VA stating that I do have a medical problem. I had to take hyperactive treatments at Shreveport January of this year to March because of continuously bleeding from my bladder. And I'm in hard shape now because of the situation that they put me through with the stress problem. I was driving a 2015 Nissan with I had it for 14 months. It only had about 18,000 miles on it. For 6 months after this stop, I couldn't think of anything but how they treated me and the symptoms that I got when I got to my car, how it just brought me back to the night that they stopped me. Okay. I ended up trading my car in for a 2017 Nissan, where when I had the red one, my car note was only $435 a month.
Mr. Robertson, your 3 minutes is up, and I'm not sure you're right in front of the correct body at this point.
Well, I've tried to talk to everybody. I tried calling the chief, the mayor. Nobody wants to talk to me about it because they knew that Officer Dilo made a gigantic mistake by stopping me for someone else. And being that I couldn't get legal representation, this has caused me great financial stress.
Okay.
Internal Affairs found Officer Dilo guilty of taking my money from my wallet and keeping my cell phone.
Okay, in summary, though, you're seeking us to eliminate this charge of the DWIs.
I went to traffic court. The traffic court jury threw it out. She said that she didn't believe anything he said, and he perjured himself from the time he stopped me throughout the traffic court and on his deposition.
And so what are you seeking from us today?
I want somebody to talk to me and find out why I have to go through this financial bind because of his mistakes.
Any recommendations, man?
He's petitioned the court. He said earlier that he filed a lawsuit, that it was dismissed. He had a Second Circuit, the Fifth Circuit dismissed any claims that Mr. Robinson had. And so there's nothing that the legislative body can do, nor the mayor's branch can do in relationship to his lawsuit, and that he's seeking redress from you all as far as any kind of remuneration or payment.
Yeah, because I can't take care of my family. I can't take care of myself.
Okay, Mr. Robertson, just a second. Let him finish here.
I'm sorry.
So what I'm advising the council and the mayor's office is that they can't take action on anything related to a legal matter that you may have, that you filed a lawsuit, correct?
Yes, I did.
And it was dismissed. Is that correct?
Because I didn't have legal representation.
Ultimately, it was dismissed. And
Right.
so the court has made an opinion or a rendering of a judgment that is adverse to you and adverse to your position. You would need to find legal counsel to try and address that issue through the court system, because what you're seeking to do is file another lawsuit. And so we cannot settle a lawsuit in this forum. So
I understand
you would need to find a lawyer who could represent your interests, potentially against the city, and have a conversation with that person to determine whether or not you have a claim that they'd be willing to take moving forward.
There is no lawyer. I've been searching for one for 2 years. Nobody wants to go up against the city. And I don't have money to bring a lawyer in from out of town.
I understand that, sir, but we have lawyers that go up against the city all the time. I
was going to say, we don't really have them. Just so
there are lawyers that have sued the city before, and so, but I cannot advise my clients to take any further action in this forum related to a pending lawsuit or a lawsuit that you intend to file.
So that means I'm going to lose my car, lose my apartment. I better do work part-time now, and I'm going to be out in the streets because of a mistake that he made.
If you feel like you've been aggrieved by the city of Shreveport, you need to take it up and find a lawyer who is willing to discuss this issue with you. I cannot advise you.
Okay. Right here. Bernstein. Okay. Miss Annie Bennett, please.
Good evening. My name is Annie Bell Harris Bennett. I live at 2209 Ernest B. Miller Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana. My problem is when the city came out to tell me that the city had to work on the streets, the manholes, and, well, not the manhole, put down the water pipes. They did not tell me that they was going to put a manhole in my yard, nor did they tell me they're going to cut down my 34-year-old tree. And that's what they did without my permission. I come home from Bible study on a Thursday night, my tree was cut down. And that devastated me. And not only that, I was told that they would leave my yard the way they found it. You did not find a manhole in my yard. You did not find my tree cut down. So I want that manhole out of my yard. I don't want a small one. I don't want a large one in my yard. If you want it, you can have it. I don't want it.
And we've been in conversation with her, I believe, since last week, and we are going to move the manhole.
But they talking about putting a smaller one there?
No,
I don't even want that.
We're talking about moving it completely out of eyeshot from your property.
That would be fine.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
That's what they said yesterday, Ms. Evans, and I'm trusting that the administration is going to follow up and make sure that that manhole is removed out of your yard, okay?
I appreciate
It'll be done
that.
to your satisfaction.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
And I want my tree planted.
And
You
we'll
want
take
a
care
tree
of it. We'll put your tree.
One big 34-year-old tree.
We'll do the best we can to replace.
Put a nice little.
We'll put a nice
grow,
little tree
you can
back.
grow that.
Yes.
Okay. Kim Kraft.
Good afternoon. Ken Kraft, 157 Archer Avenue, Shreveport, 71105. Mr. Chairman, Council, Mayor. I feel really blessed after the prior three speakers because I don't have complaints about things like that. I just have observations. And first, before I forget, I want to quickly announce day after tomorrow, Broadmoor Neighborhood Association, 6 p.m., Broadmoor Presbyterian Gym has a district seat forum. I hope, Oliver, hope you can make it, but we've invited the three candidates, and maybe district C voters can come listen to the Q&A. And Sherry, I'd love to help you. I've done a lot of forums. Any ideas I have, I'd be happy to share. I was looking at the mid-year figures that Charles Madden published online, and it's actually through July, but I'm concentrating on June 30th. It's not really mid-year. It's 181 days. It's really 49.6% of the year. July 2nd is really mid-year. And we're doing pretty well. I'm pleased that the sales tax revenue is up 4% because of that crazy 18% spike one month. And all other revenues are up 9.99, let's say 10. So overall, just so y'all can know, the revenues are up mid-year 6.83%, which is pretty cool, which leads me to my thoughts that I've shared with the mayor and our little thank you for meeting with me back on June 11th. That was a nice conversation. And with Oliver and others, we really need to think about ranking unfunded needs at some point. I've been trying to do this for many years. Each department head ranks his or her unfunded needs, so we know what Chief Wilburton wants, Chief Crump and Barbara and Patrick. We know within a department, number one, but the citizen has no way to know. And full transparency would seem to imply a ranking of the top 10, or like football, the top 25. If these revenues continue high, certainly I would like to see the operating budget reserve get some of the money, but each of these people has unfunded needs, and it might be a good exercise for the administration and the council to meet with the department heads this year, and for the first time ever, even if it's not an official document, even if it's just kind of a talking points, who's number one is number one overall. Are the top three items in the city all in the same department, or is it department A, B, and C? It's important to rank them within the department so that that department head can convey to you guys what he or she really would like. But if these revenues continue high, after the operating budget reserve, my first choice, let's help them fill some of their unfunded needs with however, and I'd love to know if y'all get a plan soon on how we're going to try to collect sales tax on internet sales. I have no idea how we're going to do that, but the courts rule we can do that, so it'd be wonderful. I don't buy anything over the internet, so I'm not affected. I'm a big box guy, but there's a lot of people who do.
Thank you. It is in some cases already happening.
Okay,
there are
good.
a few of the major retailers who have already filed their paperwork with the state, and it's being sent to us in those monthly figures. Now, it's not all, but a few of the major ones already are.
If the homeowners want to start mailing us in that sales tax, we'll take it.
And this guy does pretty well for a Marine,
Sammy Mears.
Sammy Mears, 1901 Centenary Boulevard, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101, and I've been waiting for this little moment. Thanks to three people who told me about First Baptist Church School's new Middleton Hall building being built, they had a dedication and a ribbon cutting that took place at 9 a.m. last Wednesday on August 8th, and I had to be there. Not that I wanted to go, I was going to go. And I saw that Mayor Tyler was there. I was glad to see you there. And also, I really enjoyed the whole thing because after that was done, I shook hands with U.S. Representative Mike Johnson and State Representative Barrow Peacock. So I told, of course, Mayor Tyler, Arlene, Mike Middleton were there just as well. And after it all took place, a lot of people came right toward the building to get inside and see the hallways, lockers, classrooms, and get to know the teachers. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get in right away because there were so many. So I just bided my little precious time and got to meet both Peacock and Mike Johnson. And one of them asked me what my reason was for coming, and I said I wanted to be a part of the dedication too. Then I told them the other reason I was not going to stay home and be dull, because that was not on my list. And the other thing I mentioned was that when Flo on Alice said me and Jerry Reed grew up together like puppies, Vera said, "Did y'all go arf arf?" That's the thing that got me out immediately. So that's why I had to be there. Now, Mike Johnson gave me a little card. He said, "Let me give you a card." And I said, "Car?" He said, "Card." He handed me a business card, and I got the word car mixed up with it, as I told Jeff on the phone. It was ridiculous. But anyway, everyone did have a great day. They had a real nice time. They had a big board with the names of people who donated and worked real hard to make this situation happen. Kay, the manager, told me that the old building was going to have to be torn down into a parking lot. It was already worn out and it had been deteriorating for a very long time, so it's going to have to go. But I was amazed with everything I saw. And then, of course, with one of the teachers, I said, "Jerry Malone, I should have known." And I made a rhyme, and I discovered that. And I said to one teacher, "What's my grade?" She said, "You A." So I was very happy to know I got an A, and I don't even go to the school. But they had a lot of good things like refreshments with bagel, with cream cheese, and a slice of tomato on top. And when I go to Kroger store, I love getting Campari tomatoes. And of course, when Vera said, "Did y'all go arf arf?" Flo stood there looking at her and said, "Vera, I don't know how you got to be where you're at today. You're here, but I'm not sure where your brain is."
Okay, Mr. Tim Wright.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wright. Live at 850.5 Texas Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana. I've met most of you before. I'm with Reform Shreveport, and I'd like to extend an invitation to y'all today for our upcoming keynote and workshop that's happening August 23rd and 24th. For those of you that don't know, we've been, over the last 2 years, we've been hosting speakers, of which this is our third. We also do innovative community projects that kind of restore our neighborhoods. And our mission is to build a culture of engagement and trust while talking about these ideas that we think make our city better, because that's how we think true progress will happen as citizens and their local government can engage with each other. And so our event coming up on August 23rd and 24th is going to be hosted by us and a group, Cultivate Collaborative, out of Dallas. They look at different case studies of cities across the country dealing with innovative solutions to some of our problems. We look at housing problems and adjudicated property. We look at planning and zoning. And we also look at infrastructure funding issues and the way that service costs of our infrastructure can affect the way that we make these decisions that will best benefit us economically. Over the course of these events, we'll have a keynote presentation on Thursday evening. That will be at 7 o'clock. And then on Friday, the next day, we'll have a series of workshops from 9 to 5. We'll have 4 different sessions. Our first one will be on planning and zoning. Our second will be on infrastructure funding. Our third will be on fair and equitable economic development. And the fourth will be on incremental neighborhood changes and developments. And so through this, you all might be familiar with our Highland Park project that we've been working with the city and SPAR on. We'll look at some innovative ways that citizens can take on these projects of their own so that we can extend these benefits that we've done in Highland to all of Shreveport. We'll also look at, like I mentioned before, infrastructure funding issues, and I've talked with some of the administration about this already, and looking at how we can better find the data that will help us make decisions that can help us have a better infrastructure system. And we'll cover that and many more, so I hope to see you then. Again, it's August 23rd and 24th. You can check out more details on our website, reformshreveport.com.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Chair, that's all we have for public comments.
If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.